right, let's talk Chicago Bears. Obviously, the big news involving the Bears this offseason directly involves the quarterback position. What are they going to do with Justin Fields? What are they going to do with the number one overall draft pick? A lot of questions there. Everyone has a lot of rumors, but one of the key players involved, quarterback Caleb Williams, just made an interesting decision that I think directly impacts what the Bears could potentially do. Let's get right into the news, and we'll talk about it more on the other side. This is from Yahoo Sports. USC quarterback Caleb Williams will not hire an NFLPA approved agent ahead of the 2024 NFL draft, according to a list the NFL sent to teams and a congruent report from NBC Sports' Mike Florio. The list of draft eligible players and their agents, published by the NFL Players Association on Wednesday, does not include the former USC quarterback, Florio wrote. After sending a couple texts, we've confirmed that Williams has not hired an agent, and he apparently does not plan to do so. Navigating the draft contract sphere without an agent is a risky game, however. As Florio noted, agents of NFL prospects will try and attack opposing draft prospects to persuade teams into drafting their clients. That may not be a problem for Williams, but it could promote problems down the line. Remember, Bears general manager Ryan Poles has shown what happens in cases where players don't have agents. Roquan Smith, who didn't have an NFLPA approved agent in 2022, didn't get the record setting extension he desired from the Bears. Instead, he played on the fifth year of his contract before the team traded him to the Baltimore Ravens. There he got his record-setting $100 million deal. All right, so it sounds like the quarterback situation involving the Bears just got a little bit of a wrench thrown into it. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are, but first, Bears fans in the comment section below, everyone's asking about the quarterback position. Everyone's asking about the number one overall draft pick. But let me throw another curveball at you guys. What do you think the Bears should do with their second first-round draft pick? This Bears team, I mean, they're a talented team. They're getting better, but they still have some key needs. Give us one position you think the Bears should go after with their second first-round draft pick in the comment section below. But Miles, give me your thoughts on this news and what it means for the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields, and just everything going forward.
Yeah, Nick, I think this is very interesting for the Bears, and specifically because we always can look back at history, especially for certain people, to see how it's going to affect the future. Smart and prudent to do so as well. And we see, as in highlighted in the article, Bears general manager Ryan Poles doesn't necessarily like negotiating with players that do not have NFLPA approved agents. Now, the case by case basis for this is pretty small, but I think it is relevant when talking about high profile players. There's a lot of nitty gritty details that need to be ironed out. And even though it is, a first round draft pick contract, it's not like a record setting sort of, big time renewal. It's a little bit different, but I think the point remains here is that Ryan Poles, we've been teetering back and forth all offseason. There's been times when we say, okay, the Bears are probably going to pick Caleb Williams and then trade Fields. There's other times where we say, well, they're going to save Fields on the team, trade the first pick back, get some more picks. I now think with this newest information that as Bears fans, you can say, I think it's leaning more and more every day towards Bears keeping Justin Fields and either trading back the first overall pick to get some more picks or picking somebody else with that pick if their heart is dead set and they want to make sure they get him number one overall. I think Caleb Williams is becoming more and more off the table. I just think it is a lot of a headache and a lot of baggage that comes with the player. People have said, throughout the whole thing, he's got, he's an emotional player. There's a lot of things that go on with that. He is very, very talented as well. There's that aspect. I think this whole contract thing and the history with Ryan Poles and the Bears is just one more wrench, as you said, thrown into the situation that makes me feel that they are wholly going to keep Justin Fields and build the roster now through the draft.
Yeah, I agree with you to a point. I definitely think that Caleb Williams' opportunity is probably going to be off the table for the Chicago Bears based on this and based on how Ryan Poles handled the Roquan Smith situation. And when it comes to Williams specifically, everyone looks at him and they see the comp as Patrick Mahomes. I disagree a little bit. I think his comp is a different former NFL quarterback. I think it's Tony Romo. They play very similarly. Romo did in his NFL career, Williams at college. They fly by the seat of their pants. They can be turnover machines, and at the worst times, they can crumble. They also are incredibly efficient, put up great numbers, and have a lot of highlight plays. Romo was like that. Romo's stats are outstanding. Romo had a million highlight plays, but he had a lot of turnovers, and in the biggest opportunities, he fell apart. Caleb Williams has had that stigma at college against Notre Dame this past season. Biggest matchup, toughest, most likely to an NFL defense he would have faced at the collegiate level. He was quite terrible, right? Through three picks, less than 200 yards of total offense. But he has a lot of highlight plays, and people call him fall in love with that. And he does put up a lot of great numbers. Now, I'm not saying Williams isn't a great prospect, but these comps to Patrick Mahomes, I think, are inaccurate. I think his most likely comp is Tony Romo. The one thing that could maybe turn you off of that fly by your seat of your pants mentality, if, okay, maybe that's just the offense he was in college. Maybe that's not really his approach to football and his approach to life. But you know what scares you and forces you to say, yeah, this is how he is when he doesn't hire an agent, when he flies by the seat of his pants, when it comes to negotiations for tens of millions of dollars. That's a warning sign to me. This is a 21, 22-year-old kid, right? This is a guy, this isn't an NBA. This isn't an executive of a Fortune 500 company that knows how to handle and make tens of millions of dollars and knows what goes into that process. This is a young kid right out of college. Why isn't he hiring an agent? To me, that's a sign of recklessness. That's a lack of maturity. That's Tony Romo kind of behavior, to be totally honest. Nothing against Romo. I'm just saying I think that's what we're seeing here in Caleb Williams. And if you're not going to have the number one overall pick, is Tony Romo the guy you want to use it on? I don't really think so. And I think this is why the Bears, I think this latest news has turned a whole wrench in this whole situation with the Bears. I think they could trade back and still get a quarterback. I'm a big fan of Jane Daniels. There's always Drake May. There's Travis, the quarterback for Florida State. Maybe you get him later in the first round and the second round and see what happens there. That's a very real possibility. But I think when you look at the situation right now, I think Caleb Williams is off the table for the Chicago Bears. I think this is an interesting update to the quarterback situation. But I think based on everything I'm seeing from Caleb Williams' camp, I'm starting to not like him as a prospect. So in the end, I think this will all work out very well for Chicago, moving away from Caleb Williams.
Yeah, Nate, and one more point, and then you brought it up, it makes me think about this, the fly by the seat of your pant aspect. They bring up in the article players like Roquan Smith, and then you go back to Baltimore Ravens again, Lamar Jackson negotiating his extension without an agent. Guess what both of those players did do, though? When they were drafted, they had agents. When they came in fresh to the NFL, not having any idea of how contract negotiating goes, they were smart enough to hire an agent to help guide them through the process. Once they'd been in the league for a while, once they felt things out, that is when they said, hey, I feel like I have a grasp on this. My team has a grasp on this. I'm going to go it alone. But to start your NFL career off saying, hey, I can do this better than an agent. And I'm not saying agents are good or bad, but I think being a newly drafted player, it's probably a necessity to get the best deal possible. Then you kind of work your way through the process. You understand what's going on. And if you want to go it alone afterwards, by all means. But I think early on, it's just too risky. And it kind of goes to the play style. Caleb Williams has showed it's too risky of a move to do right from the beginning.
It sounds arrogant, right? It almost sounds like Caleb Williams thinks he's better or smarter, right? And again, great talent, but is he worth a number one overall pick? We're starting to see some signs that I don't think he is. And I think that, like I said, the Bears turning away from him, the more and more that comes out of the Williams camp, I think is a great sign for Chicago that they're going to go a different direction.